Welcome to Storytime with Tallulah. Today's reading comes from r/MaliciousCompliance. Our first story is titled, My Friend is a Manager for Costco at the Membership and Returns Counter. Costco has a pretty relaxed return policy, so 99% of the time customers bring things into return or exchange. My friend says it's no questions asked. But if on the computer system he notices in someone's transaction history that they're abusing the system, he'll deny the return and offer a pretty clear explanation as to why. Honestly, most people don't raise a big stink. The evidence is pretty clear and they say, okay, I didn't know that's how it worked, and go on with their lives. But last week, a customer was getting upset that my friend wasn't going to do a return even though there was a long list of transactions that made it pretty obvious this guy was routinely buying things, using them a few times as needed, then returning them. In this case, he had bought a bunch of food and was trying to return the packaging for full returns. He's not backing down. My friend has full authority to cancel a membership, and this comes with a refund most of the time. So he tells the guy, "Sir, it doesn't seem like you're happy with our products and services. I'm going to go ahead and cancel your membership and give you a full refund of the annual fee." The guy, immediately understanding that this means he won't be allowed back in Costco, sits kind of stunned for a few seconds, then gets really panicky like, No, I'm good, please don't do that." My friend isn't backing down, so the guy asks to speak to a manager. Friend plays the whole, I am the manager of this department, so the guy escalates. The assistant warehouse manager comes over and looks at the transaction history and immediately sides with my friend, saying virtually the same thing but in super sing-songy, "We're so sorry you haven't been happy with the products we sell," and backs my friend up while he finishes canceling the guy's membership. Wow. Well, that backfired on him. Our next story is titled, I Can Only Do My Work? Okay. Reading over these stories gave me so much joy, I decided I'd share one of mine. Note, this story is old. I have not been at the job for quite a few years now. Anyway, onward. I used to work for a famous place that dispenses medications. I'm sure many of you have seen one, for more serious chronic conditions. Medications were delivered to patients instead of picked up. That's really the only thing you need to know. I worked in the insurance authorization portion. For non-Americans, that basically means I was responsible for trying to get the insurance coverages to actually pay for the medications many of these people needed to live their lives. Yes, it's stupid and inefficient. And if anyone is familiar with insurance work, you know it's 1, basically thankless, 2, usually involves having to be on the phone a lot, and 3, is always behind. The number 3 is the important part. Supervisors at the job didn't like me much because I questioned a lot of stuff and tried to make things more efficient. However, because of their own set of rules and metrics, they couldn't really ding me on a lot of stuff because I always performed well in performance reviews. Perhaps that is also a form of malicious compliance? Now, to the part where the malicious compliance comes in. My supervisors and I weren't exactly pals, a story for another time, but many of my coworkers absolutely loved me, and whenever I could help out with their workloads, I would. For most of my time there, I did my own work, helped out 2 other coworkers with their blessing, helped out other coworkers when they complained about being overwhelmed, and managed to keep fully abreast on all of the work. One day, though, Supervisor A came to me and said, "Hey, Yarn and Metal, you need to focus on your work." "What do you mean, Supervisor A? I'm completely caught up and waiting on a lot of responses." "You need to stop helping your coworkers out. They've got their work assigned. You've got yours. Just focus on what you've got." "Okay, Supervisor A, you want me to focus on my own stuff? You got it." I warned the coworkers I was helping that Supervisor A was telling me not to help them anymore, transferred all the work I'd helped with back to the original owners, and spent time working on writing things down with pen and paper. Not 2 days later, Supervisor A and her counterpart, Supervisor B, came in and were questioning my coworkers about why their workloads were suddenly so much larger. Several of them apparently gave the same answer. Yarn and Metal was helping keep our queues lowered. A day after that, we went into mandatory overtime because things had gotten too busy for regular hours. Both supervisors walked by my desk several times. Open floor desk plans are the worst. But since I was demurely either writing something down by hand or had my own work queue conspicuously open to where they could indeed see I was fully caught up with everything typically assigned to me, they were not able to say a single word. I'm so glad I'm out of that job now. Bonus is that my job paid me for several hours of work where I was actually writing down story ideas, grocery lists, to-do lists, and getting my resume in order. Wow. That's funny. That's actually funny. It's sad that like sometimes bosses think that they have it all figured out when really they're just a couple of ding-dongs. I'm glad it worked out for you. Our next story is titled, You Don't Want Veggies in Your Chicken Soup? Got it, kids. Kids are awesome at malicious compliance, but it is a two-way street. My kids can be picky eaters at times. My wife made some dang good chicken soup, but the kids were complaining that there were veggies in their chicken soup. They hate veggies. Veggies make them sick, and they wanted my wife to pick them out of the soup. We tried to tell them that good chicken soup needs veggies to taste good, but they were being stubborn. I'm sure other parents can understand. I told the kids, if you really hate the taste of veggies, I'll make soup tomorrow and you guys can make sure I only put stuff in you like. They liked that idea at the time. The next day, I get the pot filled with water, all the typical soup ingredients out, and gathered the kids. I asked for their approval on every item. Chicken, yes. Salt, yes. Black pepper, no, gross, too spicy. Celery? No, I can't even stand the smell. Onions? No. It went on with that, with them rejecting parsley, bay leaves, and other veggies. The total contents of the pot ended up being chicken, water, salt, noodles. After the soup was done cooking, I served it up and they excitedly started to eat. A few funny faces later, and one of them said, "It tastes weird, this isn't very good." I said, "But I only put in everything you guys approved. I think from now on I should make the soup, right?" They looked at each other and said, "Can we have mom's soup instead?" Since that day, they haven't complained about finding veggies mixed in the food. Sure, they almost always eat around a carrot or green pea, but they understand that it adds flavor. Oh man, you got them good. Hey, it sounds like they learned their lesson. That's a nice way of teaching them. Our next story is titled, My Mom Decided to Teach My School-Age Self to Fart in the Bathroom. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, my mom suddenly decided to teach my sister and I to hold our farts until we entered the bathroom. I have no clue why. Maybe she got tired of us letting one rip when the urge came upon us. This might have been a very useful skill to have because as a child, I used to hold my farts the whole school day and let them go like a bat out of heck the minute I walked through the door at home. Unfortunately for her, I thought farts were the funniest thing on earth and that they could be used with close family as a tool for my own humorous needs. So she randomly tells us from this point forward we are to only fart in the bathroom. We lived in a single family home with only one bathroom, so I would hold my farts all day until I heard her not only enter the bathroom, but sit on the toilet and start using it. I would then open the door, stick only my butt into the room, and let go of the farts I had been holding. I would then close the door and say, "Excuse me," and walk away to laugh. After a few days, the only fart in the bathroom rule was ditched. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Oh, I bet she was angry. Oh my gosh, you're such a troublemaker. Our next story is titled, Don't Want to Believe in What the Navigator Has to Say? Let's add 2 hours to our travel time. This is a story about how my mother insisted that Waze, a navigating application, is not accurate and how my dad maliciously complied. So we were coming home from a 250-kilometer ride from a beach resort. As we stopped by the last gas station before the end of the expressway, my dad opened up Waze, set home as destination, and took off. Now a little off topic. A major and very busy highway in the Philippines is called EDSA, a 24-kilometer stretch of road that runs through the center of Metro Manila. What makes this a really bad road is that heavy traffic is normal and bumper-to-bumper situations can happen. Just to give you a perspective, on a busy day, you'll be driving at blazing speed of 15 kilometers an hour or 9.3 miles per hour for my imperial friends, and this is a 4-lane road each side. Back to the story. As we were approaching the roundabout that Waze showed us, my mother retaliated saying, "Don't believe in that Waze, it's not accurate. What's wrong with going through our usual route?" My dad explained that the difference in travel time was 2 hours and it's only 5 kilometers longer. My mom still insisted that it wasn't worth it and that we should drive this way, pointing to the traffic jam as far as the eye can see. My dad, being really tired of her complaining, decided to give in and show her what was faster route she wanted him to drive through. The fallout. We ended up spending 2 hours in stop-and-go traffic, and to those Redditors who drive, you know how tiring can this get because you'd have to press the brakes for just under 2 hours straight. Midway in the traffic, my mom starts to complain about why we didn't follow Waze and all the other things she decided and blamed it on us, and either my dad or me had the energy to complain. Unsurprisingly, she didn't say sorry because it was my dad's fault for listening to her instead of the navigation. Mom, I don't hate you, I just hate the things you do from time to time. Oh man, that's gotta be terrible. You're like, no, I know better than the computer that has like satellite imagery and tracks phones and knows where everyone is. It has algorithms to tell me the traffic. That's a 2-hour mistake. That sucks. I'm sorry I had to sit through that. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you enjoy these types of videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when more videos come out. If you'd like to follow any of my other social medias, the links are in the description for those below, along with the Discord link if you'd like to join the Discord community that we have. It's a bunch of amazing people, and it's just a really cool place. Anyways, hope you all are staying safe out there. Thank you all for your continued support, and with that being said, we'll see you next time.